Good morning. I don't know where that horn came from, but this is Kenny Tan. Welcome to CenterMax weekly sales training, aka the Real Biz Academy sales training. This is a sales training live telecast or live stream for real estate agents. All my CenterMax real estate agents, as well as anybody who is out in the public that likes to learn something about real estate or just want to have a relationship with me, you're welcome to attend. All right, let's start with Joe. Good morning, Joe. And good morning, Maria. Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Kathleen. Good morning, Hua. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Carrie. And good morning, TM. How you been? Okay, great. Welcome everybody. I got a lot of share today, and I'm sure you guys have gotten emails from me, and I appreciate for those of you that care enough to show up today. Okay, I got a few things I want to share. Tanya, thank you so much. Some of you have been attending my training for over a year and a half now, and okay, Alec, thank you so much for coming. Uh, we have 4 topics today. Now, today's live stream, we have live stream to the Real Biz Academy channel on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. Uh, I wanted to share with you. Oh my God, there's a lot of people. Lisa is here too. Wow, thank you so much for attending. All right. See, the thing is, I got a few things I want to share with you. You'll be delighted to know. Okay, let's see who else is here. Hey, Prashant, thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. Okay. You see, I look upon a, let's see who else. Oh, Hannah, thank you so much for showing up. Okay. I look upon a relationship between a salesperson and a broker as one that both sides should make an attempt to maintain. If you're a salesperson, you can be a superstar. All of that doesn't mean anything to you, to me anyway, if we don't have a relationship. Just imagine me calling you the moment you receive a big fat commission check, and that's about the only time you hear from me. How would that make you feel? Likewise, the only time when I hear from you is when you run into a serious problem, or, you know, I'm sure once in a while you run into some real estate issues or real estate questions you need answers for. That's what I'm there for, right? I'm there to provide the support that you need. But exactly, what do I get out of this relationship? Well, certainly commission, but I can get. Let's see who else is here. Okay, May, you're here. Thank you so much. And Delana, wow, everybody is participating today. Wow, that's really really awesome. Well, the theme for today is relationship. Real estate is a relationship business. If we can't even appreciate that, then we shouldn't be in real estate. The reason I said that is much of the business that you're going to be getting are from people that you have a certain degree of relationship with. Okay, I want to have a relationship with you, so you got to give me a chance to have a relationship with you. And right now, uh, my agents has gone down to a number where I can actually spend more time with you guys. Okay, but still, eventually, we're gonna grow to a point where our time together is going to be more and more limited. I mean, we are a family. How can there be a family relationship if we don't talk to each other? If you don't hear from me and I don't hear from you, what kind of relationship is that? There isn't any relationship. So we only have, let's see who else is here. Arena. Okay. Well, long time no hear. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. Well, I'm sure you got the email, and I appreciate that. And I would rather you show up because you want to show up. Just because I may have said some harsh words in there, but I think the whole point is that I really have something important I want to share with you guys today. Okay. Now, talking about relationship, I want to share with you the secret to success. If you want to be in the social media business, in other words, if you want to make use of social media, there are only several ways to get business in real estate. Okay, let's see who else is here. My IQ is huge. Oh, Feng Jiao. Okay, good, good, good. So now you got a new name. It's called My IQ is Huge. That's a funny name. Okay, now those of you who know me long enough knows that I know how to make cold calls to get leads, to get listings. I know how to do that. When you make cold calls, you don't have a relationship with the other person on the line. So you just make calls. Those are very difficult to convert. Joanna, good morning. Those are extremely difficult to convert. That's why very few people succeed in making cold calls because it's a lot easier talking to people we already know, right? Okay, that's where social media comes in. When I was a lawyer, I'm more accustomed to people calling me. So when I switched from being a lawyer to a broker, I had a hard time because I'm not used to reaching out to people. I'm not used to establish relationship with people. The kind of relationship that I established with when I was a lawyer is not something that I enjoy establishing. But as I become a broker, I really enjoy relationship with people in my community. As you know, I'm a big fan of YouTube, so I built a huge community uh, through my work in YouTube. I want to share with you some of the success that some of our agents are really beginning to enjoy by making YouTube video. This morning, I got a WeChat message from someone who watched one of our videos, and that is the same video that is so successful that I think it's worth sharing with you. Why that video is so successful, I'm still very amazed by it. But as I get involved with Instagram more and more, I'm beginning to realize that relationships really matter. If you can have relationships with more people, then you don't ever have to worry about where the business is going to come from. I want to show you, we have top four topics to cover, but I want to cover uh, the, they are not in any particular order. The four topics are, uh, non-disclosure, non-circumvention, but I'm going to talk about preliminary title report in lieu of that. I told you in the email. And the second topic we're going to talk about is seller in possession addendum. I mentioned that last time that I'm going to cover that. And the third topic, which is my favorite for the day, is how do you rank your YouTube video, your YouTube real estate video number one when you don't have a lot of subscribers and you can actually rank your video very high through some techniques that I'm going to share with you today. Okay. And then lastly, I want to demonstrate to those of you in Northern California how to set up a new MLS listing in MLS listing. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into my YouTube. Uh, I'm going to go into my YouTube. I'll share screen with you. Okay, let me go ahead and add a scene. And that's okay. Let me go ahead and great, awesome. Now I can share screen with you. Let me go into share screen mode, and I'm gonna share this YouTube. Okay, now the very video, I've been talking about this video for many times now. I'm sure you guys have heard about this video by Judy. It's one of the more successful video, and I want to show you the kind of success that the video is enjoying. Okay, and if a video does well, we should make more of it. Okay, Justin, good morning. You should make videos that you know people like. So make those videos, and you're gonna see your business take off. Uh, Now, if your video, you're not getting any leads from your video yet, don't worry about it. Just keep doing more. Eventually, you're gonna get a bunch of people calling you anyway. So just keep working at it. Okay, the opportunities will come. You can't just do 2 or 3 videos and give up. Okay, this is the video I want to show you guys. Okay, now this is in Chinese, so I explain it in English so you can appreciate. Uh, Now this is the thumbnail. If you look at the thumbnail, it's just an ordinary thumbnail. Nothing really special about it. It's got Judy's picture and it's got my picture. And then the title says 3 recommended areas to purchase homes in Sacramento. That's all the title says. Nothing else. Not the title, but the thumbnail. That's what the thumbnail shows. And this thumbnail is doing quite well because number one, if you look at the click-through rate, okay, it's 8.5%. That is a very good click-through rate. The average on YouTube that is considered to be good and acceptable is between 4 and 7%. So this is above average performance. Why did people click through this, you know, uh, thumbnail and watch the video? If you look at the title, all the title says is, you know, where to buy in Sacramento area. And then it talks about what the video is about. In this video, we talked about Elk Grove, South Sacramento, and Folsom. All right. And this morning, I got a WeChat message from an audience that saw this video and said, I want to buy a house in Sacramento. And then later on, I found out that this person is buying an investment home. So, you know, there are people that want to invest in the Sacramento area. Now, if you look at the number of comments that we have, okay, we probably have about 20 comments, but out of the 20, probably 10 of them is my comments or Judy's comments. Because for each comment that comes in, we have to give them at least a reply. Now, we talk about relationships and we talk about community. YouTube, you can actually build a community on YouTube. Just as you can build a community on Instagram, Facebook, WeChat. Uh, I've been building a pretty decent community on YouTube because for every comment that comes in, I make sure I respond to that comment. And please don't use emojis unless it warrants for an emoji. For example, you can use a thumbs up emoji, but the only time I use a thumbs up emoji is just because really there's nothing meaningful to reply to. But if I can have meaningful reply, I'll do a meaningful reply. I'll explain to you why these meaningful replies are important because it shows how much you care. You care enough to engage with the person who posted. And I want to show you a couple of examples. And these examples will come from Instagram because my virtual assistant, my VA, Mariella, who lives in the Philippines, and she's been with me for, I think, 6 weeks to 2 months now. She's doing an awesome job. You know, there's only one Kenny Tan, so I had to find a clone. If I can clone myself, but I can't really find a clone. So I hire her, first of all, to manage our SkySlope account and also to manage my Instagram account. And she's doing a fantastic job. Uh, every time when she writes comments, I got new followers. So if she writes about, right now, currently, I have her write about 12 comments. And they are just not any type of comments. They are meaningful comments. I want to show you what she writes or what she wrote, okay? And these type of comments are the type of comments that will actually get you followers. Okay, let me see if this is the one. I'm not sure. Let's check it out. Yeah, this is one of the screenshot I want to show you. I hope you can see my screen. If you can't see my screen, let me know. Okay. Now this is a post by somebody who I either follow or they follow me. Okay. Now this person's, they post something meaningful. So I asked Mariella to be the first person to post a comment. And the advantage of being the first person to post a comment is that if this person happen to have a lot of followers of an Instagram profile, uh, their followers are going to see your comment. And if they like what they see, then they're more likely to follow you. Now, if you ask me, what Kenny, why do you need so many followers? Because sales is a numbers game. The more relationships you have, the more opportunities you give yourself. Now, let's read together what she wrote. If you read the post, it's a nice post. So she responded to that post by saying, in short, be competitive and work hard. Okay, that is smart. Okay, that is I think it also shows the other side, the other person, that you actually read the post. Because when somebody click like on your post, you don't know if this person is just finger crazy by clicking like on everything that comes along. You think that if you could click 1,000 likes without even putting in a meaningful comment, you think you're gonna get people to pay attention to you? You think you're gonna uh, find followers of your social media account? Probably no. I tried doing that, it didn't work. So I watched a videos on YouTube one day, and it kind of dawned on me that, hey, this is what you need to do. You got to respond, and then you have to respond meaningfully. I mean, if this person is copying and pasting, if somebody knows you are copying and pasting, you're in big trouble because you are on bad terms with them. Especially when you have the same typo all over again. I'm looking at it. If I'm looking at a comment and that person seems to be typing the same thing, and that person has the same typo over and over again, I can say goodbye to that person about that relationship. There's no more relationship. So we have to be careful about that. We have to let the other person know that we put some thoughts in the comment that we put in. And she actually did. And the poster actually said, you summarize it perfectly. You see, if I'm the one writing it, I will have to think about it. I'll have to think through, okay, what exactly I'm going to say in a comment to really connect with this person. What kind of connection I want with this person? Of course, it's a relationship business. If you're a realtor and you can't appreciate that it is a relationship business, then you're in the wrong industry. Okay, so she responded, and she wrote last night. This is just one example that I shared with you. Let me see if I can find another example. And she is an excellent, excellent writer. Okay, this is another example. Now, what does this one say? Let's see. I hope you can see my screen. You should be able to though, because I'm sharing screen with you. Now, this one is another nice quote. It says, everything is not for everybody. Your way may not be their way. Creativity is for the creator. Being different is the difference. See what Marella did to respond. She said, people have their own capabilities and uniqueness. Just learn to accept and love it. Oh my God, this is a wonderful comment. Now, a poster or even the poster's followers, when they see a cute, smart, well thought through comments like that, they appreciate it. That's when they have the urge to follow you. So, right last night, before she started posting, I did not have any followers for the last 24 hours. So after she started posting 12 comments, I got 9 new followers. Now, the number of followers you get will vary depending on the comments, who you post your comment, whose post you directed your comment to. If your post your comment is for a post that for somebody who has a lot of followers, then your likelihood is higher that you're gonna get many of their followers enjoying your comment who's gonna have the urge to follow you. Okay, so that's important. Another way to grow your followers is through the use of proper hashtag in your post. So I have actually reduced the number of posts from 5 to 2 because I realized that uh, the number of posts don't really matter unless it's the type of post that will touch somebody emotionally. If they are touched emotionally, they will respond and they will engage with you. Now, emotional responses could be those of happiness, sadness, uh, anger. It's got to be something that will invoke a certain type of emotion. It doesn't always have to invoke the emotion of happiness. It can be some kind of emotion where people felt the empathy. Empathy. Remember the word empathy because I'm going to use it a lot in my future presentation because empathy is what got me so many listings when I started making cold calls. See, one of the things that this expert tell you about making cold call is learn how to use empathy at the right moment. Why is it that when you make cold calls to people, people ignore your phone calls or they don't feel like talking to you? Because you haven't demonstrated empathy yet. I think as soon as you demonstrate empathy, you're more likely to get a favorable and positive response from them. So start to learn how to use empathy. I mean, it's just like sometimes people say, hey, Kenny, you don't care. It's true. Sometimes when I say I don't care, that means that I don't care about the relationship anymore. If you don't attend my training, and I don't even call you, what does that tell you about the relationship between you and me? It's pretty much over, right? Same thing. If you don't attend my training and I call you, you don't return my phone call, what does that tell you about the relationship? It's pretty much over. There is no relationship, right? So you should be happy that if you don't attend my training, I actually place a phone call to you and not wait until you get a big fat commission check and hear from me. Or when you get into trouble, you hear from me. That kind of relationship is not a good relationship, right? Okay. Now, uh, now let's go back. No, I've shown you two examples already. I think that's enough. There's probably three more examples I could show you because every single night when I go to bed, after she has posted these nice comments, next morning I wake up, I could easily add 10 to 20 followers. Sometimes I get lucky, I get like 80 new followers. Well, that's when it got a little viral. Okay, so that's how you grow your community. Yeah, I kept talking about community. Community service is very important. Now you probably heard from me, especially when you did your video. I am very particular about you responding to the comment, no matter what kind of comment it is. The only type of comments I don't respond to uh, are comments that actually intended to hurt me. Those comments, I actually remove them. But comments that actually point out my shortcomings or something I didn't do right, those are not comments intended to hurt me. Those are actually comments intended to help me. So it could be something that I didn't do right. I screw up. I forgot something. I misquoted or whatever. And people bother to point it out. Why does people bother to point out? If you are a real estate agent and you've been doing videos with me and you don't get any comments, there is something about the video that you should seriously think about changing, okay, either from the content or from the way we interact with the audience. Uh, Now, this particular one, it's a great video because I get good strike click-through rate, and then I got good comments, and then I don't have a lot of likes. Apparently, the number of likes is really not important. But another thing I want to point out is the number of share. If you look at the number of share engagement, the number of share matters. Let's see how many shares this one got. Oh my God, 21 share. Okay, that's pretty good. Yesterday I looked at it, it was 19 shares. So we added two more shares in the evening. So now people share because the video actually invoke a certain emotion with them in them. Either they felt like, hey, they're compelled to share this with their friend. You want the share because uh, the more share you have, the more outreach you have. You want to have the widest outreach possible. Another thing why this is such a great video, I want to show you Google search so you know what I mean. Before I show you Google search, how about I show you YouTube search first? Okay. All right, YouTube search. All right, let's go to YouTube. Okay, and do some search. Since the topic today is how to rank #1 for your real estate video, if you are a small channel. Okay, this is one way to rank #1. All right, now I will. I mean, her SEO is so strong right now. It doesn't matter what version I use, as long as it's Chinese, Sacramento homes for sale in Chinese, I can have three different versions. And this particular video that I just showed you will still rank very high. Okay. So for example, if I type in, now for those of you that don't understand Chinese, I apologize, but this one actually means home buying in Sacramento in Chinese, right? Okay. All right. it always, lately at least, it always ranked number one, this particular video. So YouTube will rank your video based on audience engagement. It's not based on the number of subscribers that you have for your channel. And our channel for this one, we just reached 1,000 on Saturday. Only 1,000, but we rank number one over here. Okay, now look at this lady. She's our competition in Sacramento. Look at the number
Can
of.
you really book 3 nights of sun and fun in sunny San Diego
Sorry,
at a
let me
5-star resort and spa for only
let me go ahead
$199?
and
Yes, you can.
skip over
Plus,
this
the
one.
prices per 1-bedroom suite.
疫情爆发以后，3月份到
Let me show you the number of subscribers she has. Why is it that Judy's video rank above her? She's got 2.19K subscribers. I only got 1K subscriber. I have less subscribers she does. But there's another important stat I want to show you. This is, okay, let's see. How about I click to her channel? And you see the comparison? I got 17.9K views. She only for 4.24K views. So it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. What matters are what YouTube thinks of your video. You can have less subscribers than somebody, and your YouTube video will still rank higher than them for a couple of reasons. Number one, I got more watch time than she does. Okay, that's why we should combine our resources and work together as a team. That way we can help each other out, because the watch time is what helps you rank higher. And of course, the audience engagement is also helpful. All right. So, Judy is lucky because she doesn't have a lot of competition in Sacramento. That helps too. Because she doesn't have a lot of competition in Sacramento, it's easy for people to find her. Okay, another thing I want to show you is this. Let's see, I want to, if I can find something, let's see here. Sorry about that, I lost my screen there. Okay. Let's see. All right. So another thing I want to show you is this. And again, make sure you respond to every single comment. If you do that, people are going to feel the empathy, and empathy will get you everywhere. Okay, now this one here, how about I show you something else? There's a new thing on YouTube. It's called, YouTube is big on hashtag again. So all those creators that don't pay attention to the latest development on YouTube, they are actually missing out. Now, earlier, I showed you, okay, now let's say if I want to search for homes for sale in Folsom, right? Judy's video actually don't rank very high for this keyword search. However, she's ranks number one. Yesterday I searched, she wasn't. But another thing I want to show you is this though, is the hashtag. If I add a hashtag, from a consumer's point of view, it's actually more time saving and more beneficial to them if they search by hashtag. Because sometimes if you just search by keyword, you got a bunch of garbage that shows up in the search result. So if you don't want to see garbage, just use hashtag. Hashtag actually works better. Now, because my competition don't use a hashtag, I use hashtag. Well, see what happens. You see, when you use hashtag, hashtag's landing page is always going to rank number one on YouTube search result. So why not? You see this video right here? It has absolutely nothing to do with properties in Sacramento, Folsom, or anywhere, and yet it shows up here. I have yet to figure out why. That's intriguing. But from a consumer's point of view, this particular video has very little value to the consumer because, and yet it shows up number one. See, that's why from a consumer's point of view, they are better off searching using a hashtag. Now, if you look at what's in the on the hashtag landing page, you see she's all by herself, all by herself. Okay. Now I'll use a different hashtag. Then you can see uh, why is it that sometimes we show up. Now this is about homes, buying homes in the USA. Of course, you're going to see a bunch of people here. Unfortunately, we don't show up very well here because I don't use a lot of hashtag that covers too big of a geographical area because I think that if I use this, home buying in the USA, I got so much competition there. I don't know where they are able to find me. Maybe one day when I get big enough, they will find me. But now, you see this lady here, she's kept showing up. I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out what is it. Okay, but now you see a bunch of people here. So obviously, this is a very popular hashtag. But from the consumer point of view, it's really not that meaningful. If I want to buy a home in Sacramento, shouldn't I be searching for Sacramento instead of USA? So, I mean, it's great that you can rank very high on a very popular keyword. But the reason it's popular, not necessarily because it's popular amongst the consumer. It could be that it's popular among real estate agents that think that by covering a bigger geographic area, it's actually more advantageous to them. Okay, so I want to show you this, and I want to quickly kind of show you this so you know how well Judy's YouTube is doing. Okay, same thing, okay? It's in Chinese, but if I can do this in Chinese, I can do this in English. She's always going to show up number one on the spot, okay? But, I'm sure she has other version of keyword, the same keyword, that also puts her on number one, okay? Sometimes I got 2 or 3 video on her. That's another one. See, you see this one right here? Okay, this is a different video, but it's doing quite well. Okay, so that's how you rank high on Google search. You want to use keywords that will actually rank. Don't try to use keywords that don't rank and don't matter. Remember the hashtags? YouTube only allows 3 hashtags. Make good use of the 3 hashtags that YouTube allow you. If you use the wrong hashtag, you're wasting your hashtags. I wish YouTube will give us more hashtags to use, but there are only 3 we can use. Okay. All right, that's it for that. Next thing I want to talk about is seller in possession. Let's talk about that. Okay. Oh, sorry. Wrong place to go. Now let's go to my Z-Form account. And let's try this one, okay? Try this one. I'm just randomly picking a transaction. It has no special reason for that. And to help you find the form, you go to the top right here where it says all forms, click on that, and then use acronym. It's easier to find form when you use acronym. It's SIP, seller in possession. Okay, now let me look for that form. Seller in possession addendum. Last time I showed you a form that is named residential lease after sale. That is used when the rent back is 30 days or longer. When the rent back is 29 days or less, you would use seller license to remain in possession addendum. What is the logic for splitting this into two forms? Because legally speaking, there is no landlord-tenancy relationship. Well, at least there are no tenants' rights issues if the rent back is 29 days or less. You have less concern about having to comply with California law regarding tenants' rights. That's why you want to use the seller license to remain in possession addendum. Now, without going through the entire form completely, the seller in possession is usually an addendum that we use, and it's got the property address by default, and it's got the buyer's name, and it's got the seller's name, and usually you have to input the agreement date, whatever the agreement date is. So go back to your RPA and find out what day you guys entered into a contract. Now the term, seller is granted a license. See, they use the word license. License legally means permission. License, permission. So somebody who merely has the permission to be on another person's property does not enjoy the rights and privileges of a tenant. That's why you would use a different form when the rent back period is 29 days or less. Okay, and for a period of, so in this case, for illustration purposes, I'm going to put 29 days. Okay, and I put 29 days, so you have the option of putting the exact date or 29 days, and then you put in the time. Usually, we like to give them the key, or we like the position to be turned over at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. That's why I always check this as 5 p.m. Okay, and consideration. Sure, every contract must have a consideration. So what is the consideration? It says here, in consideration, seller agreeing to sell to buyer and buyer agreeing to buy. So that is enough consideration. So the purchase contract itself is good enough consideration. Late charge and NSF checks, usually I leave them out. The reason why I leave it out is because you only got 29 days. There's really no need to talk about late charge. Okay. Number 3, seller's obligations for condition of property. Now, even for a seller in possession, it's good for the seller to actually talk about, it's good for the buyer and the seller to identify their respective properties, right? So in this case, it says seller shall maintain. Now remember, who is the person who has the license to remain on the property? The seller of the property. This is a rent back situation. So if you are a buyer and you don't have possession of the property, why do you want to take on the obligations to maintain the property? Obviously, by default, the obligation will fall on the seller, who is now a person who is in possession of the property with the permission of the buyer. Buyer is now the owner of the property. So the maintenance obligation is on the seller. Delivery of possession, is indicated above. Now it usually says it says in the conditions and on the terms provided in the agreement. Agreement is a defined term. Okay, now the agreement, the defined term, is actually it's not the purchase agreement, but this agreement. Okay, this agreement, which is the addendum. All right, and delivery of possession fee. If you like, you can charge a delivery of possession fee, but it is really not necessary. And then he has to say who has to pay for utilities. Okay. Keys, assignment, or subletting. Usually it's by default. Seller shall not assign or sublet. Logical, right? Insurance, you make sure seller carry their own insurance for their personal property. Okay, and then you go ahead and sign this. So it's an easy form to fill out. Okay, that's it for seller in possession. Now let's go ahead and go into the third topic for today. We're gonna go through MLS listings. I usually search for it under Pro MLS. Let me go get some water. If you guys, you can take, if you want to take a couple of minutes break, now's a good time to do it because I'm gonna go get some water. All right, okay. Before I begin, I just want to point out the obvious, how much agents care about the training. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of the training and I'm getting phone calls from you guys. So I'm there thinking, don't you know we have training every Tuesday at 11 a.m.? Why are you calling me when I'm in the middle of a training, right? That goes to show how much you care. You know, when I get phone calls like that, you know how disappointing and how hurtful that is. You don't even care. You know, you don't care, and I don't care. Eventually, we're gonna say goodbye to each other, right? Okay, let's go ahead and go Pro MLS listings. This is for those of you in Santa Clara, okay? All right, it says continue with Google, so I'm gonna use Google, it's easier. Use this account. Uh-oh, now it wants to send me a text message, so I'm gonna check my text message. 120202. All right, I'm in my account. So you go to manage listing, okay? Go to manage listings. And once you're in here, X this out. So I'm gonna, it's actually says here, I want to add new regular listing, okay? Add listing. Add listing. I'm a little embarrassed. Where do I start? It's been a while, so bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to use this one for illustration, even though select an action. So edit draft. I just want to introduce to you about the MLS listing system. So first, when you begin adding a listing, you go in the property type. So in this case, single family home is what I picked because this is a single family home, right? Property type, detached, and listing office. In your case, you will have the same listing office. Listing agent, then it's just your name. See, I got a few people here from the Fremont office. I don't have any co-listing, so I leave that out, okay? And no co-listing. So go next step. And you have to find the APN number and input it, okay? Input the APN number. And then input the zip code, input the county, and then you go ahead and you can actually click, sometimes once you identify the property address, you just click real estate data, it will actually import everything for you, okay? I did that before, so it's already imported. So including the county and the zip code, everything is populated. All right, and now for the owner, once I click realist data, it will populate everything for me, okay? I just want you to know that. This all came from realist data, okay? So it's already populated. So done. Even the lot size populated automatically. Property faces, you see the asterisk sign and the one without asterisk sign? Without asterisk sign means it's optional. So if you want to state which way the property faces, that's okay. If you don't want to indicate, that's okay too. The number of beds and the number of baths, that actually came from Realist data. However, that's just official. Unofficially, I got 4. Official is 3. Unofficial is 4. So some of you might be wondering, well, should I use the official or unofficial? Now, will I be sued if official says 3 bedroom and unofficial says 4 bedroom and I use unofficial? I'll tell you though, for marketing reasons, it's better to put 4 bedrooms instead of 3. However, the reason why you want to put 4, I think generally speaking, the more bedrooms you have, unless you have too many. In this case, 4 versus 3, 4 is better. However, 4 for a house like this is not too many bedrooms, so it's not a disadvantage to put 4. That's why I always use a higher number unless there are too many bedrooms. This is not the case here. However, if you want to put 4, make sure you properly disclose. There are a couple of places you can make the disclosure. One will be on the transfer disclosure statement, and one will be on the seller property questionnaire. I suggest you put it in the property transfer disclosure statement because the transfer disclosure statement is official, is mandatory, is mandated by the state of California. That's why that is a good place. For marketing purposes, there is really no advantage to indicate on your MLS listing that the fourth bedroom is not permitted. I think when buyers look for homes, very few buyers put it as a priority to make sure that all the rooms are permitted, don't you think? I think most buyers, first thing they want to know how many bedrooms it physically has, and not how many bedrooms are permitted and how many bedrooms are unpermitted. That is for the later. As a real estate agent, you have to explain to the buyer the impact of the unpermitted room on the property value and also on the risk that the government may ask the homeowner to restore it. Now, if you ask me, if a buyer asks me, well, Kenny, should I worry about it? I should say, I can't tell you that you're completely risk-free, but I think the risk is very, very small that you will be asked to restore it. Even when you are in that situation, with the new law in the state of California, they are getting to be very liberal about legalizing unpermitted room because there's such a huge shortage of housing in the state of California. Therefore, I think the risk of them not allowing you to legalize is extremely, extremely small. I think it would be insane for them to just want to punish you for buying a property that has one unpermitted room. I think one extra permitted room means that one extra room that can be used to accommodate another human being. And that is a good thing with the new policy in the state of California. They may still want you to legalize it though. It's because they worry that rooms that are not permitted have not gone through the permitting process. The wiring, electrical, the plumbing has not been checked. So they worry about public safety. It's for that reason that they don't approve of unpermitted unit. However, there may be situation where they don't approve of unpermitted unit because of zoning reason, but it's pretty rare that you add an extra room in your house, especially when you're only converting one of the rooms from a non-bedroom into a bedroom. In those situations, I think it's pretty much automatic that when you apply for legalization, they will approve of it. But if you added extra square footage, that is a different story. If the zoning only allows a certain square footage and you've added the extra ones, you're technically maybe having non-conforming use. Okay, when you have a non-conforming use, they actually look at it a little closer. Okay, so I would put 4. Okay, not 3, even though if you look at the public record is 3. Partial, perhaps I don't have any. Living square footage, this one actually came from the realist data. Okay, and then year build, that's also came from the realist data. Zoning came from realist data. Area, same thing. Now, area means what? It means what area are you in? That is the number. 351 is the number for that particular area. So this is automatic from realist data. So it's so easy if you click that. Now, the school, It's quite likely for the school, you have to look for the information yourself. When I set this one up, I looked it up and confirmed it. Uh, I always refer to the previous listing and then confirm it. So from the previous listing, I just basically copy everything over and then just kind of confirm it. That's all. Okay. So usually sometimes I'm in a hurry. I'll go ahead and use the information from previous listing, make it live, immediately confirm the information. So if you are inaccurate for a short period of time, I guess that's acceptable. So of course, if you are not in a hurry to activate it, then take the extra time to make sure everything that you put in here is accurate. Okay. Now it says here, these are non-asterisk, so technically I can ignore them and still be able to activate it. Now some people might say, well, Kenny, wouldn't it be better to make sure that your listing has more complete information? Of course it's better. The more complete your listing, the more the buyer's agent appreciate it. But I think you have to think in terms of what is it about the listing that is the most important to a buyer's agent and a buyer. Initially, at least, your listing needs to show up in searches for certain criteria. Imagine if a buyer was searching for 4 bedrooms, I only put down 3, then certainly it may not show up. Okay. So this one that are not in asterisk, I usually skip them because when a buyer buy a home, this information is less important to the buyer. Cross street, I like this cross street thing. I think the cross street is a simplified way of giving directions. Now you notice that in the direction it's not mandatory, so MLS listing does not require you to provide direction, unlike CR MLS where you're required to write out direction. So save you a little bit of time. This, to be honest with you, these days with iPhone and everything, with GPS, why do we need direction? We probably don't need direction as much, but I think it's helpful to know where the cross street is. Okay, so Windsor Drive was the cross street. Okay, so I'm gonna go next step. Okay, so next step is gonna take me to let's see here. Okay, now listing status. In MLS listing, they have 2 types. You only have active and comp only. So I pick active. Okay, because to be honest with you, I don't know what comp only means. I've never used comp only. Okay, I'll figure it out and I'll let you know. List date, whatever your listing date is. Listing price, whatever your listing price is, put it in there. Expiration date, you get that from the listing contract. Point of sale ordinance. Now, some of you probably don't know what point of sale ordinance means. Now, if you live in the city of El Monte, city of El Monte has point of sale ordinance. All that means is that before you can close escrow, the property must be inspected by a city inspector because that city has point of sale ordinance. All that means is that at the point of sale, the property would have to be inspected. If they find something non-conforming, if there is a problem, they may not allow you to close escrow. That's what point of sale ordinance says. So that's one of the things you have to figure out. Does that particular city have a point of sale? Okay. City transfer tax, usually I get that from First Americans who pays what cost spreadsheet. Now, if you don't have that, that is in our Google Drive, okay? Or you can get it directly from Lucy Grasbaugh, who is with First American. That spreadsheet should tell you whether or not for this particular city, you need to worry about city transfer tax. But if you have better relationship with certain escrow officer, I have good relationship with some escrow officers, so I usually just send an email to them. Hey, Send me a net sheet. So on the net sheet, it will show up if there is city transfer tax. The escrow officer has all this information at your fingertips. Okay. Possession notice. I never have to fill this out. So I kind of, possession. Oh, I see. Possession means what? It means that when you want to get the keys, you can put COE, but I think I'm just going to put COE plus 3 days just to give my seller 3 extra days. So you have certain option here. So you pick the right option for yourself. Acceptable financing terms is not even required. Now, if you ask me, most of the time it's either going to be cash or it's going to be with a loan. It's very rare that a seller would offer seller financing. So usually if the MLS system does not require me to make a selection, I usually just skip that because I don't think it's that helpful anyway. Okay, myself, save yourself some time and skip that. See, total assumable loan, all these are optional, so you skip them. Special listing condition. So most of the time there isn't any, so I'll just leave it at not applicable. Okay, and then do the next step. Now on the next step, fireplace. Yes, I have a fireplace, so you check with the seller. Now, see, that's another tip that I want to have for you. When you go sign the listing, take down some notes because you know why. You want to save yourself some time. So you walk around the house, just remember what information is requested by the MLS. The same information that is requested by the MLS is the same information that you're going to jot down as notes when you visit the property for the first time when you go sign the listing with the seller. So in this case, we have a fireplace. Number of fireplaces is actually optional, so I leave it blank. What type of fireplace this is? It has several options, wood burning or whatever type. Okay, and to get by the mandatory requirement, all you got to do is just make one selection. But if you want to be more helpful, you can say, I think in terms of fireplace, you want to put down what type of fireplace this is. Is it wood burning, or it's one of those where you have what I call that, the gas log, whatever the type of fireplace this is. Okay, frankly, I don't think it's that important that a buyer finds out what type of fireplace you have because that's usually not a deal killer. So usually I just give a minimum here. Okay. All right, and then the next mandatory is cooling. Now, this may be important though. I think some buyers may want to have air conditioner. So this information is important to the buyer. In this case, I don't have any cooling because this is San Carlos. Okay, it doesn't usually get very hot in San Carlos. Dining room is important because I think some buyers may want to know whether it has a formal dining room. That could be a deal killer. Family room, some buyer wants to have that separate family room, so you have to indicate that. Heating, important. So I have to select heating here. So heating, I would say gas, okay? As a buyer, what about heating do you want to know? Well, first of all, you need to know if there's heat. Of course, I think it would be ridiculous to try to sell a home where there is no heating device to heat the air, right? So you just have to indicate what type of heat, whether it's gas or electricity. But that generally is not a deal killer. So just pick the one that is appropriate. Okay. All right. I'll skip the optional one. I go to the mandatory one. Is this a horse property? No. it may be important to some buyer. You know, there are some horse properties in the peninsula area. Garage spaces, I got 3. Okay. It's important to some buyer to know how many cars they can park in the garage. Parking attached garage, important to know. Utilities, utilities, you can actually put more than one. In this case, I put natural gas. I could have put more stuff in here, but okay, natural gas. All right. Anything else that is pertinent that you think is helpful to the buyer? Foundation, crawl space. Yeah, I do have crawl space for this property. Okay. Roof, shingle roof. Yes, I indicated that it's mandatory. Okay. So if you want to get a listing quickly on activated listing quick, just work on the mandatory one and you'll be fine. Okay. Is this property in a community? No, not in San Carlos. No HOA. New construction? No. It's an old construction, 1982. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. Next one is about photographs. So go ahead and upload your photograph here. Okay. I'm going to skip this one. I don't need it, so I'm just going to skip it. Okay. And now I don't know how to get out of it. Okay. Actually, this is pretty much where you put your marketing and photos. I'm just going to skip to for agents here. Okay, now, agents, what information are you going to provide agents? Oh, actually, there's more. Commission, in this case, 2.5%. Dual variable, I did not have dual variable, so I don't have to indicate. Now, for those of you that don't know what dual variable means, it means that sometimes the seller may want you to charge less if you represent both the buyer and the seller. Now, typically we sign 5%, and if there's no dual variable, and if I represent both the buyer and the seller, I get the full 5%. But if there's a dual variable, I get less than 5% because the seller may say, you only charge 3% or 4% or whatever that reduced commission may be for dual variable. Okay. All right. Listing type, mandatory exclusive right to sell. Pretty much most of the time you'll be using exclusive right to sell, but there are other options. Disclosures, at that time, the only thing I have is just the natural hazard disclosure. I didn't even have the TDS and the SPQ filled out yet. As those of you in the Bay Area know, it's pretty much mandatory that you have the TDS and the SPQ uploaded prior to your putting it on the market. In Southern California, it's different though. You can have the disclosure till very late and still it's not a problem. In the Bay Area, it's completely different. Also in Southern California, you can split 2%. It's quite common. I think more than 80% of the listing in Southern California will split 2% with the for the buyer's agent. In the Bay Area, 2% it's actually more rare. Usually it's 2.5. Okay. All right. Another one that is mandatory is showing instruction. Showing instruction at that time, at the time I put up the listing, my seller was still living there, so I could not put a Supra. Later on, after my seller moved, I put a Supra. So showing instruction, you have several options. When you put down other like that, you better give a specific instruction. So in this case, it could be lockbox, Suprabox, Bluetooth, Suprabox, Bluetooth LE. That's the one I use. Okay. So whatever the case may be, you just check the relevant portion. Most of the time it's Suprabox LE. These days when you buy a new Suprabox, it's the Suprabox LE. All right. Okay, this is my contact information. That's by default. I don't have to input it. I just need to verify the information. okay? And then you see here, number 10, verify. That's pretty much the last step. And I will not click verify because I'm not actually doing a listing. But, you know, if I am actually doing an actual listing, then I have to finish up the rest of it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you on the MLS listing. And now finally, actually no finally, this is final because it's already 12:20 and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll save the fourth topic for the next training. Well, if you like today's training, give me a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to the Real Biz Academy, I appreciate your support. So give me a thumbs up, click the notification bell, and share the content for today's, give me a thumbs up and then share today's content. And then if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything that will help this training, feel free to write comments in the comment section, okay? I really appreciate it. The more comments you write in the comment section, the more YouTube likes this video and the more YouTube is going to promote this video and the more it is going to help this channel. I appreciate it.